Cosmic horror is all about the fear of the unknown, eldritch gods, unfathomable entities, and the terrifying realization that humans are insignificant specks in the vast, uncaring universe. But what if the horror wasn't out there? What if the real nightmare was reality? Ontological horror, also known as existential horror, is a mind-melting offshoot of cosmic horror. Instead of tentacled monsters, the fear comes from discovering that time, identity, and existence itself might be an illusion, or worse, a lie. If you thought reality was stable, then these 10 films will prove you very, very wrong. Ever had a relationship that made you question who you really are? Well, this movie takes that idea and warps it into something truly terrifying. A couple on the brink of separation goes on a retreat to reconnect, only to discover a guest house where alternate, better versions of themselves exist.
I've sent a lot of couples there and they've all come back renewed.
Are they clones? Are they real? And if they're better, do they deserve to replace them? This is a film that lures you in with romance and mystery, then blindsides you with existential horror. If you liked Coherence or Black Mirror, this one is definitely for you. Imagine being trapped in an infinite loop. Walking down a stairwell forever, never reaching the bottom. That's the nightmare of the incident. Two groups of people, one trapped on an endless road, the other in a stairwell that never ends, slowly realize that time is broken. Their bodies age and their minds deteriorate, but their surroundings never change. Why? And that's the real horror, because once you find out, you'll wish you hadn't. If you love The Endless or Triangle, this will haunt you. What's scarier than a cult? A cosmic force that traps you in a never-ending time loop. In The Endless, two brothers revisit the commune they once escaped from, only to find that time works differently there.
There's something out here, isn't there?
It's like Annihilation meets Coherence, with a creeping sense of dread that builds to an unforgettable finale. If you want a film that plays with time and your sanity, this is it. Not all horror involves blood and monsters. Sometimes it's the slow, crushing realization that your life has no meaning. Synecdoche, New York follows a theatre director whose life becomes an endless, recursive simulation of itself.
You can't tell me?
No.
No, you can't tell me if you can't tell me.
No.
He builds a full-scale replica of New York inside a warehouse, casting actors to play real people, including himself. But as the decades pass, the line between reality and performance disappears. It's like Black Swan meets The Truman Show, but instead of a clear resolution, it leaves you spiraling into existential dread. Ever feel like you're living the same day over and over? Triangle takes that fear and turns it into an absolute nightmare. A woman finds herself trapped on a cruise ship in a time loop, reliving the same horrifying events over and over. But the real terror isn't the loop itself, it's when she realizes who the killer really is. If you liked Coherence or The Endless, this film will break your brain in the best way possible. A dinner party gone wrong, a passing comet, and multiple versions of yourself existing at the same time. Coherence is a low-budget masterpiece that proves you don't need CGI to mess with people's minds.
Yeah. Wheeler's comet.
After it passed, people get lost. They would end up in the wrong home.
As the night progresses, guests realize that there are other versions of them outside the house, versions that may want to replace them. If you love psychological horror that gets under your skin, this is a must-watch. Think The Twilight Zone on steroids. Before The Matrix, there was The 13th Floor, a film that asks, what if reality itself is a simulation? A tech executive discovers that the world he lives in isn't real, but the real horror begins when he tries to escape, only to find that the next level of reality might be just as fake.
Walking around experiencing 1937. My body stays here.
If you love The Mandela Effect or Existence, this one will make you question everything. What happens when fiction becomes reality? In the Mouth of Madness follows an investigator searching for a missing horror writer, only to find that his books are rewriting the world itself.
This is not reality!
It's all happening for real, Trent.
The protagonist faces a terrifying truth. He may just be a character in someone else's story. And if you're a fan of Lovecraftian horror or The Twilight Zone, this film will break your mind. A mysterious zone called the Shimmer is expanding, mutating everything inside it. As a team of scientists ventures in, they begin changing too. DNA splices, minds unravel, and by the time they leave, they may no longer be themselves.
I need to know what's inside. I could save him.
The final encounter, a shape-shifting entity mimicking human movement, is one of the most unsettling moments in modern horror. If you love the endless or under the skin, Annihilation will stick with you long after the credits roll. Do you remember the Monopoly man having a monocle? What if I told you he never did? The Mandela effect takes this real-life phenomenon and turns it into an existential nightmare. A grieving father starts noticing small inconsistencies in reality, only to discover that the world is constantly being rewritten, and no one else notices.
Dad, I'm scared.
If you like the 13th Floor or Coherence, this will creep you out big time. Which comeback shocked you the most? Did I miss anyone? Let me know in the comments down below if you'd like to see any other top 10s of your favourite actors or scenes or any other kind of thing. And if you love deep dives into cinema, hit the like and subscribe button. And as always, I look forward to seeing you all in the next one.